And the reason that I say United crumble is because it can't really knock us for the Phil Foden goal. The second goal was a wonderful 1-2. It took us apart. But after that, losing 2-1, as bad as we are, as poor as we are, as good as Manchester City, we then capitulated, lost all ability to try and maintain possession, create some opportunities. We then concede a very sloppy, awful third goal, which creates a scoreline which is bordering upon the embarrassing. The performance, and look, I know there's a lot of people out there that are still back in Erik ten Hag. Fair play to you. That's your prerogative. But you know what really frustrated me today? There was a plan. There was an approach, and that was to sit in a low block, and counter-attack, or the modern-day phrase, play on the transition. And although we only had 2 shots on goal the whole game, and we only had 1 shot on target, that stat reads really poorly. But for the first time ever in a game, I actually noted every single time Man United had a counter-attack. We had 10 throughout the course of the whole game, 5 of which came in the first 28 minutes. And I'll break them down more when I get onto the City part. But I watched it and thought, at least I saw what the plan was. But my issue with the way we set up today, the way we played today, is that it goes completely and utterly against what Ten Hag has been trying to do. So some of you may turn around and say to me, well, Terry, you're being a hypocrite here. You said that you like managers to have plan Bs. I do. But I want the plan A to work 9 times out of 10 in other games, and it doesn't. What he has tried to turn Manchester United into, his style of play, whatever he and the board have agreed to, is an absolute crock of crap. Today, we revert to being a transition team, and we do an okay job 75 or so minutes of the game. But then, of course, once you lose a little bit of confidence, it falls apart. And I can't help but just sit there. And as I'm sort of dragging through the ruins, sniffing around the carcass of my once great club, the only word that keeps popping into my mind is identity. Identity. What are we? And today was embarrassing, not just the 3-1 defeat, not just the sheer golfing quality between Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and my team, but the fact that we don't even have, and Fabregas was called out for it the other day, at least under Ollie, there was a way to try and play, and it was sit back, absorb, and generally speaking, we were quite devastating on the counter-attack. But we've gone away from being a counter-attacking team, so we're not that good at it anymore. Today, we had 10 counter-attack opportunities. I'll read them out, actually. The first one came in the 5th minute. Garnacho could have squared it to Rashford. He didn't. The second one came in the 8th minute. Rashford's goal, by the way, beautiful. The takedown from Bruno, hold-up play, plays it in, sweet strike, one of the best goals you'll ever see him score. The third counter-attack came in the 16th minute. Rashford went through, should have headed the ball down, didn't, messed up. The fourth came 23rd minute. Rashford could have volleyed, but he missed the ball completely. The 5th came 28th minute. Casemiro wins the ball, plays it out to McTominay on the left, should have cut it back across to his right, but goes on the outside, loses the ball. The 6th came on the 45th minute. Bruno to McTominay messed it up. The 7th came on the 48th minute, just at the beginning of the second half. McTominay on the right-hand side should have got a much better cross into Rashford that was free in the middle, couldn't find him. The 8th counter-attack came on the 55th minute. Rashford went down too easy, in my opinion. Foden goes up the other end and scores. The 9th came on the 75th minute. Anthony should have found Garnacho. He was clear, just a ball over the top, and he was through clean on goal, didn't find the pass. And then the 10th came on the 79th minute. Garnacho through, really good tackle from Ederson. So although statistically it will only show 2 shots, 2 chances in that regard, there was multiple counter-attack opportunities. And I'm not surprised we didn't capitalize because we don't play counter-attack football anymore. And that's the problem I have with this manager. You either got to have a system where you go, right, we're going to play a different way depending on which team we're up against. We did that quite well last season. Or you stick to a style. And if it isn't working in a game, you might change it in the moment. But we are so poor. We have no plan. We have no identity. I'm embarrassed. I'm genuinely embarrassed. And look, I am so looking forward to the summer as a Man United fan because I can't wait for a new board to come in, new football decision makers. I hope a new coach comes in. A number of these players have got to leave. Whether they're good enough or not, I don't even want to get into that debate. It's irrelevant. They're jaded. They're tarnished by the rot and the toxicity at this football club, and they have to go. They have to be moved on. Each and every single one of them has to be gone. There's no doubt about it. Loads of people. And we really need to start that process sooner rather than later. Because it's just painful to watch. And yes, I am looking at the individual game in itself. And by the way, I think we had the right approach today. There was no point being open and expansive, but it just shows how bad Ten Hag's tenure has been, that we're the better part of 2 years into it, and he has to revert back to Ollie football nearly 2 years into it, nearly £500 million investment into his players. We can't play out from the back. We have no real patterns, no real consistency in how we attack. The players are devoid of confidence as soon as something goes wrong. And it is a damning statement for not only the manager's reign, but how we've been run, the direction the football club has been going in. Now, in isolation to today, losing 3-1, some Man United fans probably would have taken that before the game kicked off. We were in it until quite late. I don't mind as bad as we are playing in the low block and counter-attacking. I'm not moaning about doing it today, in case any silly people in the back are misinterpreting it in that way. I just viewed it very much as, what are we? We're nothing. We're absolutely nothing. We are lost. We are a lost soul. We really are. And watching City know who they are, so many quality players, watching Arsenal progress in the last 2 years, looking at Liverpool, who are in a crisis of injuries themselves, still look dangerous, still be potent, still winning trophies, still top of the league. So much of it is because of identity. And people will attack Rashford, they'll attack Bruno, some will attack Casemiro. I'm over it. I'm over it because if you cannot see that how we operate as a club has led to the demise of the players, the coaches, everything, it's so much needs fixing. And I know that all already, but it was just the way we tried to play counter-attack football today. We just regressed 3 or 4 years. And if this is, hindsight's obviously lucrative, we may as well have just kept Ollie and just carried on playing counter-attack football. But we started to build a team that isn't really right for transitional football. We don't have enough power. We don't have enough speed. You go back to when we were doing it well under Ollie, when you had Martial at his pomp, Rashford loving it. You had obviously, Cavani wasn't fast, but he had that know-how and he had power. We had Pogba in the team, Bruno when he was fresh. There was just more energy, and we're just not there anymore. And look, it's City deserved it, 110%. They did, and I'll get onto them in a few moments. But it's hard to review it as a game because we take nothing from the performance because we're not going to play like this in the next game. I don't even think anything from the goal. The goal was great, but there's nothing about the only thing I would say was a positive. I thought young Mainu looked particularly calm as and when we had possession. I so hope that we get it right at the club to help young players like him be nourished and to grow and to develop. I really, really do.